Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and you're watching The Lawn Care Life. Today's going to be a little bit of an interesting concept on this video, and what I'm doing is I am going to track my day in the sense of how many yards can I do today and how much revenue can I generate in a day. And I'm literally going to go yard to yard to yard, and we'll see how it goes and kind of keep track of the time and everything. So right now it is bright and early 5:54. So at 5:54, yeah, I haven't been awake that long, just to be honest with you. I'm trying to figure out what planet I'm on, but I'm driving to get my work truck, and then I'm gonna start doing the yards. I'm gonna get an early start today, going to some commercial properties and try to get there before people arrive for work, so I don't have to deal with people being in the way. So I'm just gonna let you guys follow along. The other cool thing what I'm doing today is I've got a new sponsor on the channel, and it's a company called GPS Track It. And it's this little device you plug into your work truck. And I'm familiar with the concept of GPS tracking, but this will be my first experience of actually using it and being able to look at how I can improve my route efficiency. So I got this little piece of hardware that plugs into my truck, and it's gonna track me, okay? It's gonna track me, or if you had employees, they could track them as well. And it's gonna show me how long I was at each stop, my idle time, things like that. Now I'm in a little car right now about to go get in my work truck. So as soon as I get in a work truck, it's gonna show me how much time I spent driving. And I wanna take that data and see how I can improve my route. Now I already know that today is not going to be the most efficient day because my schedule, we've had a lot of rain. I'm going to be doing some weed control, some fertilization, and I'm kind of hitting two different primary areas of town. So there's going to be a little bit of driving there. I'm also in the process of working on my house, so I'm kind of going back and forth, making sure that people are doing work that needs to be done, things like that. So anyway, but we're going to track it, see how well it goes, see how many yards I can get done today, and how much money I can make. Let's get started right now. All right, I'm in my work truck, 6:37. Gotta get a little fertilizer in the truck. We'll be off for the day. I'll be making different stops back and forth between my house, but let's get going and see what we can make happen today. Here we are, stop number one, $75, I believe, on this property. And I've got to spray the weeds in this yard. But first, adding to my inefficiencies today, I've got to fill up my spray tank. I should have had that done already, but I forgot. So gonna be able to take care of that and then get started spraying these weeds. All right, now I've got a neighborhood entranceway. This is stop number 2, and it's got more than one part to this entranceway. But you may say, Jason, what are you spraying today? Well, you look at the weeds we got. We got some chamber bitter. Is that one looks like a baby mimosa tree. Got kalinga in the yard. There's nutsedge everywhere. So what I'm doing right now, I've got a couple different combinations. One is I've got Celsius and Certainty mixed together. It's a pretty good combination for warm season grasses and get most any weed. It's not as effective as my other combination, in my opinion, on the kalinga. So that's why on the other tank I'm using, I've got, and I'm not blanking these yards, I'm just spot treating, but I've got Change Up, Dismiss, and Pro-Sedge all mixed together. So like the Change Up would be awesome on the chamber bitter, the Dismiss would be great on the kalinga, and the Pro-Sedge would be great on the old nutsedge. So that combination is 3 products. It's not, the cheapest combination out there, but I'm looking for something that I can walk the yard one time and it'll knock out most every weed that I'm going to encounter. Got to be a little careful with the Dismiss in the hot weather. It's early in the morning right now. We had plenty of rain. I wouldn't, but it can cause a little burn to the grass. So, but anyway, that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna hit this entranceway, go to the other part of the entranceway. It's $100. We're still before 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm off to a fairly good start. Though videoing is not exactly the most efficient thing if you're trying to set a world record, which I'm not gonna do today, but I want to show you guys what's going on. All right, I got 2 stops knocked out. It's still about 10 minutes till 8 o'clock. Those are my 2 commercial stops for the day. Now, I don't typically want to get to a residential property till about 8:30 in the morning, so I stopped by and gonna refill my spray tanks. And this brings up a point, if you're trying to be more efficient, I'm not setting a good example today, but there may be some things that are holding you back. So you can do a little bit of prep work the morning of or the day before. In this situation, having my spray tanks filled up with everything I need, or if you're mowing grass, make sure your blades are sharpened and you've done all the maintenance that you're gonna need and you've got everything. You know, if you go out there in the field and you don't have any water and you got to stop for that, or you decide you want to stop at the all-you-can-eat buffet and eat about 3 pounds of food, that's going to slow you down, okay? So there's some things you can do from a weed control standpoint. Also, just thinking about what products am I using. Maybe I'm using a more expensive combination of products, but it saves me time, man hours, and so ultimately you got to weigh that out, whether you want to use more expensive products that can save you man hours, or maybe you're using more man hours with lesser products, and that's going to be a personal business decision. But for mowing, you know, we're trying to improve our route density no matter what we're in, and that's what the GPS Track It is helping us with, one of the things. So anyway, I've got to make a pit stop here and refill, and then give some time for the customers to wake up so I don't interrupt their morning. All right, as usual, my delays take longer, so I finish yard 2 before 8 a.m. Now I'm just arriving at yard 3 at 9:10. That involved going to the grocery store, going back to my house, filling up with stuff, talking to the people that are working on the house, pouring a driveway today. But now it's time to get busy. 9:10, I'm absolutely in the clear as far as worrying about whose house I'm at and what time of the day. Am I waking anybody up? I'm good to go. I've got food, I've got water, I got my big hat on. It's time to get serious. So what I'm gonna do is start working. I'll check in periodically throughout the day and give you a count on how many yards I have done. And at the end of the day, we'll calculate how much money we're able to generate. And then we're gonna look at the reports on GPS Track It and see what we can figure out about how inefficient or efficient my day was today. All right, it's a little after 10 o'clock and I'm about 6 or 7 yards into my day. Things are going well. I just wanted to show you the yard and show you what kind of weeds I'm seeing today and what we're out here doing. So in the middle of the summer, this yard was a late sign up, so the pre-emerge application was late. So it's gonna have a little bit of crabgrass in it, and it was a mess when we took it over, but it is improving. You got stuff like Virginia buttonweed, you got some Dallas grass clumps. I try to avoid taking yards that have a lot of Dallas grass, but this one didn't have too much. You got spurge, you got chamber bitter. I mean, these are very common summer weeds. This one had a little bit of, there's a little bit of oxalis. It's even got some broom sedge. I mean, there's a lot of weeds in this yard, and of course it's got a little bit of crabgrass breaking through from being late on the pre-emergent. I'm trying to suppress the crabgrass, make this yard look pretty good for the rest of this year. Let the cold weather kill the crabgrass, work on all the Dallas grass this winter. And then next year, when we get on the regular schedule with put our fall pre-emergent out this year, and next year with 2 pre-emergent apps, it's gonna do a lot better as far as keeping these weeds out. But it's made huge improvement this year. In other news, I had a video about a month ago where a customer sent me on a wild goose chase over, I think, $38 and had me, anyway, I can put a link in the video popping up on your screen now. But what I did was it was time for his yard to be sprayed again, and I just called him and left him a voicemail. He didn't answer, and told him that I wasn't going to service his lawn anymore. And the key to that is just do it in a polite, respectful way. I wasn't ugly. He may or may not call me back. But you know what? Today's society, people like to avoid those difficult conversations, or maybe do it through a text message. I want to go against that, and in my opinion, you should at least have the courtesy to call him. So I wanted to call, even though it wasn't a pleasant conversation. You know, had the potential not to be. He didn't answer, but it wasn't like we were calling to wish each other well. So he may get upset, I don't know. But I just think, in my opinion, it's worthwhile to have at least the courtesy to call them where they can respond back, where a text message just to me is not nearly as personable, and I wouldn't want to do that even if I'm getting rid of a customer. All right, check it in. It's 11:48. I've got about 9 or 10 yards under my belt. I stopped by my house. They're pouring concrete today at my house, so I sat there and watched them pour concrete. Those guys are hard workers, so that's good. But I'm back at it and about to sling some fertilizer and spot treat the weeds. And just checking in. We'll continue to check in throughout the day and see if I can get, I don't know, maybe 20 yards today. We'll see. I don't know. All right, it's 1:25. I pulled up on one of my centipede yards, and actually looking pretty decent. Centipede's just temperamental. I mean, it just got a mind of its own sometimes and
can be a little bit challenging, but glad we've had plenty of rain. And this one of the good things is it's being mowed frequently and being mowed low, and that seems to help. Sometimes people want to grow their centipede out, but 125, I don't know how many yards I got, about, I'm gonna say 14. I'm just guessing. We'll count them up at the end of the day. But anyway, happy to see good looking yards and fertilizing this one, spot treating weeds, and moving on. All right, I made it to the last yard. It's about 3:20. I just got a little bit tired and hot, and so I finished up some of the yards in the area I was doing. I thought I'm gonna catch one more on my way home, and this is a large yard but it's one that I can fertilize and not have to walk it with a backpack sprayer. So it'll save my legs riding on the machine. So anyway, it's been a great day. And when I get home, I'm going to check out the computer on the GPS track it, and I want to see what the stats say about my driving time, idle time, and what I can learn about my efficiency. It's not going to be a great performance, but I do think I did a lot of yards and I generated some decent revenue today, so we'll calculate those things up. If you want to look into the GPS track it, there is a link in the description below that you can check it out. Anyway, it's pretty cool, but I'm going to show you the report on the computer so that you can see what it does. All right, the day's over. I made a couple stops, so my idle time and stop time, that's going to be a little bit manipulated on the report I get, because I'd go to the grocery store, I stopped and looked at the concrete we got poured here at our house, so excited about that. And now it's time to wrap up the day. So a fairly long day. I mean, well, I say that I started at like 6:30, but I took a couple hour breaks, just to be honest with you. So not my most efficient day, but I want to go in now and see how many yards I got done, how much money we generated, and what the GPS tracker report says. And I'm back at the house, and I am adding up how many yards I did and the revenue for today. Now remember, this is revenue, this isn't profit. Usually the chemicals and the fertilizer ends up being about 20% of my annual revenue at the end of the year. But I was trying to, I was thinking in my head, maybe I can get 20 yards today, but I really didn't count until I got here, and I just counted, and I did exactly 20 yards today. So a good day. And now I'm going to add up the prices of each yard and see what the revenue total was for the day. I'll just add it up on the phone here so you guys can see it. 75, 40, 60, 80, 65, 65, 65, popular price, I guess. 75, 62, 65, 68, 33. I take those little ones as well. 140. I take the big ones too. 100, 70. 65, 50, 63, 48, plus 40 equals $1,329. Not bad. Phone's about to die, 11% battery. Not good. Again, it's not all profit, but that is what today was, and I could have pushed it harder. I sat there and watched these guys pour concrete for a while. I went to 2 grocery stores, so my efficiency was not great, just to be honest with you. I did get an early start, and I worked till about 4 o'clock is when I quit. So now I'm going to pull up the GPS tracker report and see what kind of data we can see about my day. So this is pretty cool. This is a map feature, and it shows where I went today. And you can see I started here, went this way and did some yards, and then came back and did some yards over in this area. This is me running to the store at the end of the day. All right, pretty cool here. So it tells me my drive time, my stop time, the number of stops I made, 19. There was once where I had 2 yards close together where I was able to make 1 stop. Actually, I happened twice, 2 stops, and was able to do 2 yards at the same time. It tells you how much idle time I was. So if you were tracking an employee, you say, well, you just sit in the truck and let it run all the time. I did 16 minutes and 2 seconds. Hey, that's not too bad. It was hot today. There was a couple times I'd stop and I'd let the air run on me for a minute. But 16 minutes and 2 seconds, not too bad. average 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So yeah, I probably had a few that went longer than that, and you know, and sometimes I was motivated and got out of the truck. As the day went on, it got hotter, okay? Because I basically drove 25 miles. So you can see, and there's all kind of data on here. This is just the report I pulled up, but there's a lot of different data that you can pull up, the map view, maintenance reminders, a lot of things on here. So pretty cool. Links in the description. You want to check out GPS Track It. I thought this was an idea where I could track my day, see how I can improve from an efficiency standpoint, but also let you know, hey, I was still, even not being super efficient, stopping by my house, going to the store, 20 yards over $1,300. Not too bad. If you were thinking about getting into the weed control and fertilization business or mowing business or mosquito business, then you can go over to lawncarelife.com. There's resources available for you there. Appreciate you watching the video. I'm Jason Creel, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.